Hey, my name is Rolinda Stotts. I'm actually in one of the galleries, fine art galleries that represents me, and I have my artwork sitting behind me, and next to me is my Orchid Stories book, volume 1. But really what I wanted to talk about is this concept of 2020. It's a whole new decade, and it is so exciting because for me, in 2020, I turned 50 years old. I know, I'm like, actually, I can't even believe it. Like, I say those words and it doesn't really sound real because the fact is, I feel like I'm 9 inside, 9 years old. So that's a big thing. But as I have been reflecting back on 2019, I wanted to share with you a story and a journey that I have been on. In 2019, I set a goal to become a professional speaker. I know, who sets that kind of goal? It's kind of a weird goal, but I went about it, and I did all of the things to learn how to actually have a professional speaking business. And it's one thing to have a business, it's another thing to speak, but it's a completely different thing to have something to speak about. And in 2019, I figured it out. I figured out what I am speaking on. And if you are aware of the plight of the bees, the honeybees, there's something happening in that honeybee population that's been around, I believe it's 2016. I need to check my facts because I'm not great with numbers. But colony collapse disorder became national, global news because of the fear that the bees were collapsing, these colonies were collapsing, and this whole like awareness of the bees became public, very public. I don't talk about bees. Actually, I do talk about bees, but I actually take that concept, that idea of the bees covered in pollen and how critical it is to have purpose or pollen on us, and this whole idea that we are important and we have to be able to have enough juice in us to go out and do our work and live our lives so that we can go out and live also our purpose. Sometimes not even knowing what our purpose is, just like the bees don't know what their pollen is. But this is the interesting thing, as I've been speaking about creative exhaustion, about different types of burnout. Something really interesting happened over the past 12 months. And that is, I discovered that we are experiencing human colony collapse disorder, because I believe in two things. I believe that we're not using our agency to create to our fullest capability because of burnout. People are burned out. And it looks like depression and anxiety and loneliness and hopelessness, which leads to joblessness and homelessness and suicide. All sorts of things are happening because we are creatively exhausted. We are burnt out. And in the talks that I give, I talk about burnout, rust out, and whiteout. And I don't need to get into all of those things, but what I find really, really fascinating is that as I looked back over the year about this goal of becoming a professional speaker, of course, I am an artist and I have to paint. So I will always paint. And my galleries are so happy to know that because I love working with